should have been a cowboy. I should have learned to rope ride.
There we go. In another segment of What's in My Cup. Cole, what is in your cup this morning?
First off, we're starting it off with the OG High River Senior Pro Rodeo Cup. This is the 1992 to 2012 20th anniversary edition. They probably gave this to Nana because she used to time all their rodeos all the time. That was
I thought you were gonna be like Nana was like out there freaking turning barrels or something. Like I didn't
in
know
the
anything
ribbon
else
roping,
more.
just snatching ribbons and running it back.
Go time, senior go tying. Like I would
Oh.
pay to watch that.
In the 90-year-old division. But yeah,
Bro, I was. Go ahead.
I got that homemade Latizzi today. I don't have Tiger and I's really good cinnamon honey, which man, game.
Oh damn,
They don't sell it in Canada because Canada is
bro.
absolutely.
You're missing Tiger's honey, bro. You're missing Tiger's honey. That's the problem.
I am.
Speaking of they don't sell it in Canada, freaking that video you made of the grocery store, that shit went viral, eh?
Yeah, dude. It's like still to this day. We posted that like last year and it's just steady all the time climbing. It's my #1 video on YouTube, man. It's got a couple mil views.
YouTube as well?
Yeah.
Wow, isn't that crazy? Let's go do more videos at the grocery store. Let's do a podcast live from the deli section.
Freaking Safeway Okotoks, man. You guys are famous and they don't even know it.
So walk us through for the people that at home that have not seen the video. It's so simple. It's crazy. We think about like these crazy schemes to make videos and to try to go viral, you know, to grow your social media. And then all of a sudden Cole goes to buy some lemons or walk us through the video. What happens in the video?
Yeah, it is so funny because it is so different than what I usually post. And it was literally just Tiger was up here visiting in the spring and it was cold and I needed groceries. So the new Safeway on the north end of Okotoks had opened. I've got a scenes card. It's like, sweet, let's go get some points. Let's go check out this new place. And man, they be trying to keep the lights on in that bitch because we were just walking around looking at the prices and Tiger's like, oh my God, they want $12 for this? And she was just like losing her shit over all these prices. And I was like, I need to just film you doing this because this is hilarious. So then, yeah, we just walked around the store and would pick out items that, and maybe some of the items weren't something you would buy on a regular basis, but it's still an item you would look at and be like, wait, that thing's the size of my hand and you want $29.99 for it? Like that doesn't make any sense. That's dried out flowers. Like, so yeah,
That's crazy.
I cut together a funny reel about things costing so much money, posted it, and then classic, a video like that, man, people just started fighting in the comments and like coming at me.
That's what you want though. When people start fighting in your comment section, that's when you can just lay back, open a beer and know this is hitting 1 million views.
Right? For real, dude.
Yeah.
They're just like, well, that's what you get for shopping organic. Why don't you go to the fancy store and you could go to a more cost-effective grocery store? I'm like, bro, this is a Safeway. All right, this ain't a Whole Foods. This isn't a fucking Trader Joe's. This is a Safeway, my dog.
But let's go back a second. This is a video on Instagram. Like people are so angry. Like they have this bottled up anger that when they get on the comment sections, they're just like spitting fire. It's unbelievable how opinionated people are. Like it could be a video about a wall color. Be like, is this beige or is this white? And people will like kill each other's mothers in the comment section, either saying it's beige or it's white. It makes me laugh so much, bro.
I know, man. It's crazy and it's funny because now I've kind of picked up on like, oh, I could film this and edit it this way and put it out, and it's probably going to generate just a nasty reaction amongst people, you know?
100%, man. That's what you got to try to be going. You want to bring emotion out of people ultimately, right? Because that's when they're gonna comment. That's when they're gonna share. That's when they're gonna show their friends. But it's tough. It's not an art. It's not a science. But when you can tap into that psyche of the human mind, spirit, heart, where they need to say something, whether it's right, left, center, whatever they need to comment, and then Buddy reads that, and then Buddy wants to comment on top of that. This shit just catches on fire. But Cowboy Cole, last we spoke, you were off to Saskatoon to do the old 10-minute trick roping act. How did that go, bro?
Dude, yeah. Oh man. I just want people to know if you don't trick rope, man, 5 minutes is a long time to go out there and
it's a lifetime.
It is, dude. And like right now, I got a decent arsenal of tricks, but I'm still building, I'm still working on bringing more into my flow and into my system. So like, yeah, dude, they sent me out there and it was like the game was scheduled to start at like 7:06 and I went on at like 6:52. So they were still a lot of people making their way to the seats, a lot of people still out on the concourse getting drinks, getting food. So like when I went out there, there was probably 2,000-ish people in the stands of the 8,500 that were there that night.
Wow.
So like
Wow.
I go out there to music and just yelling at essentially nobody because the arena is still filling up. And but it went well. I went out there and used my words and riffed around a little bit, did some tricks, did some like smaller rope tricks, and then stopped, got everybody kind of going, built into a bigger loop, did my Mexican jump rope, kind of got them hyped about that. Pulled out my new trick where I flip it up over me and it comes over me and I jump out of it. I pulled that
They
off
don't.
this time in front of
Oh, nice. I was nervous for you for that. I saw the preparation on Instagram. You were practicing, and I know
Mhm.
trick roping is tough, kid. Like it takes hours and hours and hours to be able to get these. So it worked out. It went smooth.
It went smooth. I got in and out of that sucker. It looked so rank, but it was funny because
That's
I had a
awesome.
headset mic on and like my mic was clicked on so I could be like, come on, Saskatoon, get loud. You want to see something crazy? You know? Well, I'll talk to my rope when I'm rope tricking. So I had to like remember to not run my mouth unless,
You
you know,
wait. You talk to your rope? Is
calculated.
that what you?
Yeah,
What do
dude,
you
straight up.
say?
It's like if
What do
I'm
you
doing
say?
the ocean wave and it's coming around, because when it comes around my left shoulder, that's when I'm gonna fucking whoop, bring it up over my head. And so
Yes,
if it
sir.
kind of gets kinked right there, I gotta bring it around again and get it back under itself, bring it over. And so it was kind of kinking right there by my left shoulder, and I wanted to be like, "Hey, motherfucker, get around here!" You know? Like,
Don't you kink on me, you bitch. I will not take you home tonight. I will
yeah.
not put you in the can. You will sleep outside.
But then it was funny because
Oh man.
for the Forestburg BRC event that I did the next weekend, same deal, dude. I get out there. My trick roping was supposed to be in between the short round segments to keep it hype, keep it fast paced, but then we just had an absolute shit show go down in like the first five bucking bowls. So I went out there with my trick rope and essentially got just plugged in right there to do my trick.
Oh
Same deal
damn.
happened, man. Fucking my rope was kind of kinking up right there, and I just wanted to be like, "Come on, you motherfucker!" But
Motherfucker.
we called
That's
her a
amazing.
hot bus.
That event looked great. My Brazilian boy won it.
Yes, he did.
I'm never there, bro. I'm never there for these events. I need to I just need to work out my schedule better. But it looked a lot of fun, eh? Got a good turnout.
Yeah, it was just a small community kind of bull riding. They sold it out and it
Those are
was
the
like
best, bro. Those are the best. That's all
750
you
seats,
need.
right? So that was perfect, man.
That's
Really nice
huge.
new hockey rink in there. Two buck and shoots aside, like the bullpen itself was really small, like almost too small for Cowboy Cole to be out there mingling with these.
Oh, it was getting dangerous. Was it getting dangerous?
But no, it was really good. They sold it out. It was a great little rural community. Got the kids going, got the frickin' rodeo moms going. I got two people to chug a PBR beer, shotgun a beer, fastest person won a bag of
Nice.
chips that I had. Like just some fun shit, you know?
That's fun, bro. What a blessing, eh? To just go out there and make people happy and joke around and play with ropes on a mic. Like that's
Yeah.
freaking amazing.
Yes, I
Have
know.
you always done like this is a question I had for you. I know you've roped your entire life. Were you always into trick roping, or was this just something that, I know when I was out there just roping the bail, you start playing with the rope. Is that what it was, or were you a trick roper as a child? Were you on the Kellogg's box? Like, how did this come about?
No Kellogg's box, just the Trojan box. But
Oh damn. Wouldn't that be oh
it
man, we need
was
to
a
get
small
sponsored
bowl.
by Trojan. Extra large.
Yeah, XLs for a friend of ours asking for a friend. But no, essentially, dude, I started learning tricks when I was a young kid because we'd match and play pig and horse on the dummy all the time, and I had some friends that
Yes,
could
sir.
really do some cool tricks, and I was tired of getting my ass kicked. So I taught myself how to do the butterfly and how to do the ocean wave,
Yeah.
do the reverse ocean wave, and how to do the Mexican jump rope, and like just watching them and watching videos, and that's how I learned the best, honestly, is if you can show me and then let me do it. And if I'm holding it wrong, show me that, right? Like show me quick
Yeah.
and then let me just start fucking around with it, man. That's how I like it the most. So and then
That's awesome. You were a young Zeke Thurston there with the trick ropes.
yeah. Yeah, Zeke was on another level for sure, but I was trying to catch him.
Yeah, that always boggles my mind when when they go deep into Zeke's history and like it's like, man, this guy was famous as a child, like
Yeah.
doing tricks. It's so crazy.
Multi-talented, hey? Like just so cool.
Multi-talented, just like those people, man, like they're just born to win. It's like
Mm.
if Zeke would have been born in Toronto and his dad would have strapped on skates and said you got to be a hockey, he would have been a professional hockey player. If he would have got a basketball, he would be in the NBA. Like those guys are just born to freaking, I want to say born to buck. Those guys are born to just become professionals and successful in whatever they do, just because they're so focused, I think, and want it so bad.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. Some people are just born with that thing, right? And like, yeah,
Yeah.
you got to mine it out and you got to carve it out and work on it and craft it and blah, blah, blah. But some people are just born with that thing. It's each
Yeah,
one of
and
those.
work ethic at all. I don't think it's like I mean, I think there is a natural ability involved, like an athleticism, but I also think those people they're able to work harder than most humans, you know, whereas some people it's like, no, just today I'll take off. They're out there 7 days a week, 24/7 thinking about it, growing, working on it, and that's why they become the Zeke Thurstons, the Messis, the freaking who else? Wayne Gretzky's of the world.
With Matthews,
Yo, speaking of good people, we got a good one for the podcast today. We got a great guest. Why don't you do the honors?
yeah, dude, this is a guy that actually lives just across the river from me on the east side of town, not too far. Somebody who's been pretty crucial in Cowboy Cole's career on a mic and kind of getting going here,
Yes,
and
sir.
somebody who guaranteed everybody listening to this podcast right now has watched a production that he has put on. Whether you physically saw him out there in the arena shoot bossing, or he was tucked in behind a desk with a headset on calling the shots. This guy is pretty cool. His name Kynan Vine. That is our guest today, Felipe.
AKA Cowboy Kynan. It's so funny because when I first met Kynan, I was riding into the Calgary Stampede. He was producing the Calgary Stampede rodeo, did it for many years. And someone, I forgot who that I was talking to over just email and text for getting everything ready. This was in 2020 when I finished the Americas. I'm the marshal, and they say to me, Cowboy Kynan is going to meet you. And I was like, why is his name Cowboy Kynan? But then I found out that he was the only guy that was a cowboy that was working in the desks and the offices of the Calgary Stampede. Real cowboy. There's a lot of cowboys out there, but he would come in, you know, wearing his cowboy hat and boots, and so he was known as Cowboy Kynan. And that day, he took me to his house. I showered in his basement, took care of Clarita and I. He fed me a Brazilian meal. Just became a great friend, and he's just a force to be reckoned with in the rodeo world, in the fishing game. It's so funny
Yeah.
to say he lives across the river from me. That reminded me of that SNL skit, down by the river. Like how, yo, by the way, I
Okay.
watched the, have you seen the SNL? I thought about you when I was flying down to Brazil this last time. I watched the SNL movie. Have you seen it?
Yeah, bro. I love that movie, dude.
Oh, it's so good, bro. I
Yeah.
thought so much of you. Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool?
Dude, when they start at like right at 10 p.m. and it's just chaos until that red light comes
Oh
on.
my
Like,
God, it's
fuck.
fire. Like
I'm like,
these guys are laying
hey,
bricks. Like
bricks, dude. Like,
one of
Belushi
the guy
out there laying
quits.
on the ice.
Yeah, the ice. What's that guy's name?
Belushi.
Belushi, one of the most famous comedians of all time. And yeah, man, I was just, and then the guys like, they don't know if they're gonna do reruns of the Johnny Carson show or if they're gonna go live,
Right?
right? And then the one guy that's got the decision, it's like, what do we do? Do we go live or do we go to? And he's like, go live.
Go
And
live.
bam, the skit starts. And Belushi doesn't come out. Like he's like,
Right?
Belushi,
Yeah, they're all
go.
sitting there like,
Belushi, go. And nothing.
please,
And
please,
then he
come on.
finally walks out. I would love to watch that episode. That's what I was trying to think. I don't know if it's on YouTube or not, but I would love to watch that first episode just to see what it's like, to see if you can kind of feel the tension in the air and the
Yeah,
and the
dude.
insanity that was behind the curtain. It's so funny, bro. I love that movie.
Tiger's got the subscription for that. So when she gets up here, we'll VPN and we'll watch that bad boy because it's good.
Oh, beauty.
Yeah.
Yes, I would love to.
Yeah.
All right. Well, without any further ado, let's get to Keenan.
You know, hey, there he is.
Look at this guy.
Sorry, boys. I just totally thought it was 8 p.m. Like I didn't even think about that. When you said 8, I'm like, oh shit, okay.
Dude,
You know what's
I was
crazy?
at Ranchman's
I'll
till
go
11 o'clock last
go
night.
over I'll go over to Cole, drink some beers, 8
No,
o'clock at night.
Cole's going straight. Cole just went straight from Ranchmans to this interview. But
Right to the
I do want to
box.
say one thing that helps with this confusion in Brazil. If we say 8 a.m., it's 8 a.m.
Oh,
8
because you
p.m.
guys
is
do military
20.
time.
Exactly. It's 2000. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like that's what it is. It's just that's how it works. So we wouldn't have that. But Keenan, thanks for being on the show, buddy.
Yeah, no problem. A little bit now I'm not prepared. I'm nervous, boys.
Oh, are you kidding me? What is this? This isn't a freaking math test. You don't have to be prepared.
Yeah, it's not a job interview unless you want it to be.
Yeah. Do you want a job? We need another host.
What job are you guys gonna give me? Is this like some sort of return the favor situation now we got going on here?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm trying to think of
dear.
what I've got around here. Shit.
We actually have a segment here on the show called "What's in Your Cup." Please tell the audience what's in your cup. Is it whiskey?
It's just coffee because it's 8 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my God, this guy lives with three young
I
children.
have
I'm so
three kids.
sorry. I
Yeah.
know. Are the girls like, do they need tending to? Are you okay to do this right now?
Oh, they're with their mom, I think. So
I think.
Oh, Megan's gonna kill us. We're gonna have to face We're gonna have to give Megan a gift after this.
they're like a pack of wild animals anyways, so it doesn't really
Oh,
matter.
they're
They're
the
just
they're the best.
roaming free.
Keenan's got three beautiful girls. They're the cutest things in the world, and but they keep him busy. I can't even imagine what's like. I have no kids, and it seems like I have no time to do anything. I can't imagine herding three kids around, working as much as he does,
Yeah.
taking care of the acreage, and he's got a horse now to
And you got a new
feed.
horse.
And yeah, how's that?
Really?
Let's start it there. Tell us about the horse.
Yeah, we last year, or the year before, when we first moved out to the acreage, we got the girls a pony, Sophie. She was awesome. She bucked once in a while, but that's good to teach the kids. And
Yes, sir.
she was so small that she could get out underneath our two-rung pipe fence, and she kept running away. So we had to, Sophie had to go somewhere else. She had to go to a friend's house that had lots of room to roam and other horses to keep her company. So this year we're like, well, let's just get a big horse. Let's get a horse that I can ride and the girls can ride and just a big old gentle horse. But as you guys know, the horse market, especially when people know you're after something specific, it's not something you just dip your toe into. So it,
No,
you
sir.
Not
know,
unless you want to lose it.
I remember growing up going to the auction barn buying yearling horses out of the auction barn for $150 and
Wow.
making good, nice horses for, under
Yeah, but that's like we're
$1,000.
talking 1963. You could buy a house for 300
Yeah,
bucks.
exactly. But, so now, yeah, but we were able to find this horse, Megan's aunt, um, my wife Megan's aunt and family are her aunt Elaine Watt is what I guess you might call rodeo royalty in Canada. She's a Hall of Famer. She's a Canadian champion. Her auntie Carol is also a Canadian champion barrel racer. So we just put Aunt Elaine on the case, and she came up with a horse. So some people around Claresholm had, and he's an old guy. He's 18 years old, and he's perfect. Just big old buckskin and toodles around in
Yeah.
the arena, and the girls can ride him by themselves, and it's awesome. So
I didn't realize that Megan was related to the Watts.
she is. She's a Stewart. So her dad and Elaine are brother and sister, and yeah, so they're a rodeo family. Megan's dad rodeoed, and I mean, he's a weird because he doesn't really, look like it or talk about it or anything like that. But he had a short career in bull riding, broke many bones, and so he switched into to tie down roping, and he actually had a pretty successful amateur career. He's the Chinook champion tie down roper back in the 80s and did pretty well and had some nice horses and but yeah, so he just kind of moved out of that as the kids got older and so it's nice. It's get the horse and we got a bunch of his tack and yeah, it's great. It's all these little connections too. It's hilarious because when we look at it, like I'm second generation rodeo cowboy ranching family and Megan's like, third generation. So it's
Wow.
nice for the kids to be raised that way and be involved and then Megan's got all these different random her uncle on the other side is Jeremiah Watt, who's, Jeremiah Watt bits and spurs and saddles and all sorts of stuff. So it's hilarious because you say that and people go, "What? You're related to Jeremiah Watt? Like he's famous, right?" So it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Maker's like, "Yeah, I guess. I don't know."
It's funny, man. I remember being a kid because my sister grew up high school rodeoing with a few of the Watt girls, and then I grew up high school rodeoing with Kipty. So I would go stay at the Watt Ranch down there in Claresholm and just hang out with Walker while he tooled saddles till 2 in the morning, and we would watch that '70s show all day and just rope and tie calves, man. It was awesome.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny because I also stayed high school rodeoing and I high school rodeoed with Casey and Kendra. I was kind of right behind and Walker, obviously, but and then right behind their oldest Kirby, but they it it was like the Wild West staying out there at the Watts place. There's a pack of kids and there was always five extras and Yeah, I don't know. Speaking of being busy, I have no idea how they did that, and then all the kids rodeoed and did all sports, and they were figure skating and whichever. I'm like, holy moly! Now that we're into it, I'm like, this is nuts, man. So,
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
you must see it with different eyes once
oh
you
yeah.
become a parent, right? Like you don't really understand what's happening as a child. But Keenan, I want to talk about your illustrious career. I see the All-Star Game, MLB. You got some things back there. Of course, last year you produced part of the show, which was amazing. You got to work with some of the biggest and best in the industry. But I want to go back to exactly what you're talking about, which is rodeo. You know, rodeo has been a huge part of your life, your upbringing. Do you remember like what is your first memory of like a rodeo? Like, are you watching someone compete? Is it you? Like, what's the first memory that you have?
No, for sure. My dad was a bull rider, bullfighter. He's kind of an all-round guy. He rode bareback horses and steer wrestled a bit, but his mainstay was bull riding and then bullfighting kind of later in his career and then got into rodeo clowning. So um, my first memories of rodeo specifically, it's funny because usually, sensory, it's like something else will remind you of something. So, for me, it's like the smell of baby oil and baby powder is just like, then my
Whoa,
first
whoa.
like,
Is this a P. Diddy files? Like, are you,
Yeah.
are you gonna
yeah,
come on?
Big party.
we're 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 getting into the deep stuff here. No, because back in the day, traditionally, all the rodeo clowns and bullfighters wore grease paint makeup, right? And so like my earliest memories are sitting around either, outside the camper, motorhome, bus, whatever trailer at the time we had, or kind of in those old locker rooms in an indoor hockey arena and all the bullfighters and rodeo clowns getting ready and putting makeup on. And so that smell is kind of my earliest memory of rodeo, actually. Not I don't remember the places or the people per se till I was a little bit older, but that smell of the baby oil and the baby powder is just like, that to me is like my childhood. So it's interesting. But yeah, so that's, when I was 3, 4 years old probably and yeah, I remember that all the time and just like the characters that would be hanging around and you
And,
know
and and not much later, like we talked about this last time I saw, I didn't realize this. Not much later, you're in the arena fighting bulls. Like my mind was blown when you were telling me the stories last time we were together. How old were you when you stepped into the arena for the first time?
Well, yeah, I mean, of course, I'm the quintessential rodeo clown kid, so I'm the sheep fighter and whichever. And then I never really did want to ride, but I just wanted to be a bullfighter. And so my dad really pushed me towards steer riding, junior steer riding, just so I had a sense of what it was like. And so I did do that and, started doing that around 10, 11 years old. And I think by the time I was 12 or 13, it's probably 12 at the time. I really wanted to be the steer fighter at the rodeos. But an old bullfighter at the time, he unfortunately passed away just before Christmas, TJ Baird. We were at Box Springs Rodeo, and I said I wanted to help him fight the steers, and he says, "Well, if you want to be a bullfighter, then I guess you'll just be a bullfighter." So I ended up out in the arena with him fighting bulls, and looking back now, even at the photos and then the timestamp on them, yeah, I think I was 12 years old. So, um,
Bro,
who
these are the best photos in the world. Like I saw
whoever
these
would have
photos.
thought
Like
that like nowadays parenting, like if I were to look at my child that's 12 years old or anybody in today's society, they'd be like absolutely not doing that. And my dad was just like, "Oh yeah, this is great. Like this sounds awesome." Right?
That's so
So
funny.
yeah, 12 years old. I mean, I was fighting a lot of bulls, like actually at, same thing, high school rodeos and going to bullfighting schools and all that kind of stuff. By the time I was 15, I was pretty involved. And it was funny because now I think about it and I'm like, I had to get my parents to drive me to the event. So I remember going to a WPB bull riding, and it was like kind of my first hired bull riding in Caroline, Alberta. But my parents had to drive me because I wasn't old enough to drive. So it's like we had to go. They had to come with us, and well, wanted to come with us, obviously, but yeah, I
Yeah.
wasn't very old, so.
And like when you were young and getting started, because I think about it, when I was like 12 or 13, my grandma introduced me to Scott Byrne at Pinoca Stampede one year, and like um Scott Way is a good family friend of ours, and he fought for a long time and was really good. And so I would look at Scott and be like, "Damn, dude, like that guy's killing it. You know, he gets to travel
Mm.
all over." And obviously, I'm seeing other rodeo guys do this, but like Scott was going there to get paid and to do a job. And my young brain didn't recognize that when Scott was like, all right, dude, like if you want to learn how to fight bulls, like reach out, we'll help you and blah blah blah." But like, did you have somebody in your corner that was like, "All right, Kynan, there's opportunity here. Like a guy can take this somewhere, get in the rig, let's go fight bulls," or was it just kind of a man strapping on the cleats and going out there and seeing where it takes you?
No, for sure. My dad, again, growing up, he was pretty connected, and he fought bulls at the Calgary Stampede and for lots of big stock contractors, and had a long career in it. So, fortunate enough that he was around it and was able to kind of get us our start and be connected and help us, obviously teach us, and same thing, like growing up, we were out in the backyard chasing, he was chasing us around with the wheelbarrow, and we were fighting bulls. And then we had an arena we built in our you know backyard, and we were bucking bulls and doing all sorts of stuff at a young age. So learning how to do it was definitely not the issue. And being around all those guys like Scott Byrne and TJ Baird and Ryan Byrne and Jason Davidson, all them guys, we were around them, from a young age. So we were pretty involved and had, fortunate enough to have some opportunities. But yeah, it's interesting now to think about kind of being that young, and some guys calling you up and saying, "Hey, can you come fight bulls at this bull riding or this rodeo?" And I remember Dwayne Kessler phoned one spring to see if I wanted to come fight bulls at Tabor and do some of his rodeos, and I said, "Sure, no problem, pro rodeos, right?" And he said, "Yeah, your dad used to work for us, and it'd be great if we heard you were fighting some bulls, so it'd be great if you could come and fight some bulls." He never asked, I never said anything, just bought my permit, and actually at the time I would have had probably Scott Byrne. We had to get guys to sign off on our permit to get a membership, right? So a bullfighter and a bull rider. So I had Scott Byrne and I think Jason Finkbinder or somebody like that sign off for me, but I wasn't 18, but nobody ever asked that. And I never said, I guess, but I never even thought of it. You had to be 18 to get your pro card, to go fight bulls. But I was 17, and I was 17 until that summer. I fought probably 6 or 8 rodeos when I was 17 years old. And it's funny to think back now, because it's like, well, guys just didn't even think about it. It's, hey, come fight this bull ride and come fight this rodeo, and you just did it. Same with Jesse Byrne, same thing. He was fighting bulls, at lots of rodeos and probably the CCA finals and lots of things before he was ever even 17. So,
Well, it's crazy to think about, but by the time you were 17, you had been doing it for like 5 years already.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like that's crazy. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's insane. And this isn't something that's for the faint of heart, right, Keenan? Like, did you get in some crazy wrecks? Like, what was your career like when you were out there bullfighting?
Oh, yeah. I mean, what I would say, well, I guess they are serious to a lot of people, but broken bones and my knees, that was probably the one that started, and then they just give you troubles, and both threw me and kind of I landed weird on it, and tore my ACL, my MCL, meniscus, tore my meniscus a couple times. I've had 3 knee reconstructive surgeries, and I got my face stepped on uh, at a bull riding one time, and did some pretty good damage. And then another time, a bull guy was hung up to a bull, and I don't know at what point, but when I was getting him out of the wreck, the bull swung his horn back and hit me, same thing in the eye, and did some pretty good damage. So lots of concussions and facial injuries, and same thing, like just the way that bullfighting is, like broken fingers and broken, bones here and there, but I wouldn't say anything like catastrophic other than the knee injuries were hard to come back from. I mean, as a bullfighter, they're hard to come back from. So
Yeah, absolutely. And it is funny, like now that been working a few events, entertaining, kind of being right down in the arena, and you bullfighters take so many subtle shots that people don't really see or realize, but it's not a subtle shot, dude. It's a freaking 2,000 pound bull. Or like out in Manitoba, dude, this freaking bull rope come flinging around with the bells and just smoked this clown in the side of the dome. But I mean, he's looking here and it come around from the other way. Like
mhm.
just crazy shit will happen out there in the arena when you start bucking bulls.
Yeah, and that's what I always say to people, these guys want to fight bulls, and I always say this if I'm involved in a bull riding school and bullfighting school or whichever. Even kids like steer riding and they're trying to figure out what they're going to do with their career, and you can see they're kind of on the fence about riding bulls or bucking horses or whatever, and so they want to stay involved. So they want to, maybe they'll be a bullfighter. And I say, like, the big thing about being a bullfighter, that I think I didn't, I just want to do it because my dad did it, and all my heroes did it, right? And so I wanted to be like them. But as a young kid, you don't register the magnitude of what you're doing out there is protecting somebody else, and essentially at the end of the day, you might be willing to put your life on the line for them. And the good guys, you can tell, have come to grips with that, right? They don't that doesn't factor into their brain anymore. But these young guys, they're standing out there and they still have those, like, it might be a split decision of like, shit, do I really want to, like, have this bull run me over so that that guy doesn't get run over? And it's a way quicker thought process than that. But as a guy that's been around it my whole life, I can see that transpire, and I can tell if the kid wants to do it or doesn't want to do it. And it's not about wanting to be a bullfighter. It's about wanting to sacrifice life and limb, or life or limb, for another person, right? And so I'm like, this is serious business. This is not, you can go and ride a bull and sure, like, you get bucked off and no harm, no foul. But as the bullfighter, like, you're responsible for other people. And not all of those things are going to come in that moment of the guy, coming off the bull or whatever. Like you said, it might be a bell to the side of the head. It might be, somebody accidentally, lets a bull out of the back and it gets into the arena. Like, shit happens, right? And then I had it lots in my career, more times than probably a person would think, and it happens more times than people think. But bull jumps out of the back pens, and now they're in with the crowd, or the people are leaving. One time we were getting our stuff off after the bull ride, and bull goes running past us. Well, we get up, start chasing after it. He's running out. We were outdoors at Oyen, and all the people are leaving. They're parked out on the baseball diamonds, right? And we're running after this bull, and he's going straight for all these people, and he goes right at these elderly people and their, like, grandchildren. And if it wasn't for the old guy throwing his lawn chair, that bull would have smoked him. But that bull saw that lawn chair and went after him. But as the bullfighter, same with the pickup man. It's just like your job's not done until the animals are loaded on the trailer and gone home.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of guys don't think about that. Like, they don't think that they could end up being responsible for the entire crowd, right? Like, that's
Yeah, it's
yeah.
crazy.
So,
It's crazy. Sorry to cut you off, but it's crazy to think about it that way. I want to talk a little bit about this, like how selfless you guys are. Like, you are literally like throwing your body. You are injuring yourself so someone else doesn't get injured, so someone else doesn't get killed. What's that like psychologically? Like, through your career, was that something that weighed down on you? Like, was it something that you thought about, or did it just become second nature eventually?
yeah, I think so. I think when I was younger, again, like, my reason for bullfighting was because I wanted to do it because other people did it that I thought were cool, and I didn't register the part about the, getting ran over and getting hurt. And so when that started happening, it's like you're a young kid and you're riding your bike and you're BMXing and you're so brave until you just take a dirty wipeout, right? And then it's all of a sudden you got a double, think about what's going on and, oh, do I really want to do that jump? Well, that's for me, it was bullfighting. And that is not a good, again, like if I went back and was speaking to my younger self at a bullfighting school, that is not the sport you choose to be like, ooh, do I really want to do this today? Right? Am I really brave enough to like make that, save and probably get hit? So I went through that probably pretty young. And again, because I've been around it all my life and because I started doing it at quite a young age. I remember one time a buddy of mine says, "Oh yeah, talk to so and so," and they said you're getting pretty good at fighting bulls. And I'm like, it looks like you're getting more comfortable out there. And like thinking back now, I was having that conversation with somebody when I was 16 years old, right? So, they're looking at me. Everybody's looking at me like I'm a seasoned vet, so I should just be good at this, right? And it's like, oh, I'm still trying to figure it out. But yeah, so that psychological side for me came pretty young, thankfully, before I went into, professional rodeo and then all of a sudden you take a bad wreck and you're sitting out there in the arena as a 25-year-old trying to decide if you want to save somebody or not. And I've seen that too. You see it in guys' careers where they're starting to wane a little bit and it's just a little bit harder for them to take their hand off the fence or I always say like your fence chaser is you, you can make the save, but you watch the guys. Like if you're paying attention, you watch them. And as soon as they make that save or get that bull's attention, where's the first place they're looking? It's not this, system that especially nowadays, the bullfighters nowadays got it figured out, man. And they're so good. And but they have this like rotational system of like triangulating a bull. And as soon as one person gets into that triangle that isn't working the system because they're like thinking about my best exit out of here, you could see it fall apart, right? And the guys that are doing it that don't have those thoughts, it's like there's no chance of a bull rider ever getting injured when you have, these guys out there that are all clicking and just on top of their game, right?
How new is that triangle system? Like when you started and you started going out there taking your own jobs, were they still fighting one man? Was it two
Yeah. Oh
men?
yeah. Yeah, and I don't even know, maybe it's still like that. I have no idea, but I fought a lot of bull. It was weird because I fought a lot of bulls, amateur, Chinook rodeos, FCA, and then got my pro card. So I've been fighting bulls at pro rodeos for a few years. And then Blaine Fison, who's actually partners with Jason Davidson, he bought a amateur card out in the CCA. And so he asked if I'd come out and fight some rodeos in the CCA for them. And I said, sure. Who am I fighting with? He's like, no, 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 it's by yourself. And so that took a bit of getting used to because I never fought by myself, like not at a practice pen, not at a rodeo, nothing. In Alberta, we didn't have that. So fighting by yourself is a different deal, right? And it is very much you give the guy a one shot to get away type situation, but then you also have to think about yourself because you're the only guy.
Yeah.
And you know, fighting with three guys at a bull riding was just starting to become a thing when I was, fighting at PBRs and stuff. So, um, again, like getting that dialed into that system, I think like even the early guys, they all came from being like a lone bullfighter at Joe Baumgartner and Rob Smets and these guys, Frank Newsom. The majority of the pro rodeos that they fought at back in the 80s and 90s, they were by themselves, right? So that system of working three guys together wasn't natural to them. And I think nowadays these guys like Cody Webster and Dusty Tuckness and Bo Sheese and Nate Justice, like they've really dialed that in, right? And even up here with Brett Monnier and Tanner Byrne and Ty Prescott and Connor Lowerby and these younger, guys in Canada. I mean, Brett's actually older than me, by the way. But yeah.
Oh, had to throw that in there.
Yeah. So yeah. But anyways, no, it is different and it's better and it's, better for everybody involved, and you're still going to take the shots. Like Bo Sheets got hit the other day at a PBR and was
Oh, I saw that, man. That
in the
looked
bathroom.
terrible.
So,
That looked really
and
scary, but
yeah, it's funny though. Like I look at these guys, like a lot of them are my age, Dusty Tuckness and Ty Prescott and but they can still keep going because that system has changed. The bulls are obviously changing as well. Like the
Yeah.
bulls are bred to buck and they've been bred to buck for a number of years, as opposed to when we were going, they were bred to buck, but they also had a lot of
Yeah, they were
you
bred
know,
to kill.
Spanish bred bucking bulls, or these like wild Brahmas that, or just an old soured herd bull that the guy brought and it bucks, so they bred it. And it's just
Yeah.
like, man, we just had some man killers when we were younger. They didn't necessarily all buck that good, but they darn sure were going to try to kill you when the guy came off. And nowadays you watch and the bulls are just intent on bucking, right? Which is,
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's good. The guys are getting bucked off harder, but they're not looking to kill somebody as much after the guys are off. So
Nah, it's even awesome to see. Like a lot of times, the guy comes off and the bull stops. Like it's so awesome to see, and they're easier in the shoot. That's a lot of places that guys used to get hurt a lot as well. They're banging around in there. And speaking of being in the shoot, you went from the arena floor to the back of a bull. You rode bulls as well. It's another
yep.
story that I had no idea about. Last time we went skiing, you were telling me. Tell me about that part of your life. Why did you start bull riding, and what was that career like?
Yeah, just, I mean, I think I was in high school, my grade 12 year. In the summer of the grade 12, I never rode a bull. Didn't want to be a bull rider, and got on some bareback horses. I loved riding bareback horses, but in high school, I was like 120 pounds. So riding bareback horses was tough, but it was fun. It was probably the most fun event that you could do. And yeah, so Buddy entered me in the bull riding at a rodeo. I was entered in the team roping and the bareback riding one summer, and we got there and I see my name beside the bull riding, and I said, "Oh, that must have been a mistake." "Oh no, I entered you. You might as well just get on." I said, "Okay, well, we'll see how I do in the if I win the bareback riding or do good in the bareback riding the team roping, I'll get on my bull." So I think I was third in the team roping and won the bareback ride. And so he's like, "Okay, like you're having a good day. You better get on this bull." So I go to get on this bull. Like these bulls were,
There's no way to ruin a good day like getting on a
oh
bull.
God. And the bulls were like young bulls and they weren't tipped. They had big, sharp horns. I saw a video, a VHS video of it somewhere. Anyways, bull jumps out, turns back away from my hand. I ride him, spur him. I think I was 80 whatever points, I don't know, and won the rodeo, yeah, won the all around and yeah. So
That's awesome.
I thought, yeah, this stuff's pretty easy actually. I might as well try. It's way easier than bareback riding, I'll tell you that much right now. And I'd still say that. But so yeah, started getting on some bulls and got on a lot of bulls over the next couple years and I had my pro permit and went rodeoing and I mean I didn't have an illustrious career at riding bulls, but I did do it for a little bit and yeah, it's kind of one of those things that I now looking back, I wish I would have focused on that quite a bit more, but yeah, it just, I mean, it's one of those things that at least I can say that I did it and I didn't just try it, I did a lot. And so it's all these little things throughout my career, trying all the events. Like I did every single event. There's not an event in rodeo that I haven't tried. I've even goat tied, but so I think it helps though in what I do now because I've done every event. I've been the rodeo announcer, rodeo judge, rodeo bullfighter.
Yeah.
I've tried picking up, so I have an appreciation for everything that happens at a rodeo, which is important, and same thing, like growing up with my family putting on a rodeo, local amateur rodeo, Box Springs rodeo. One of for a couple of my first jobs were like, yeah, helping do the ground at the rodeo and running the tractor or the water truck or whichever. So same thing.
Th-
It's just like,
That's huge, man. That translated to your producing career. Now you're the chief, you're wearing the hat and you're controlling all this. And I say it all the time, I do a lot of talks for big businesses and when the father or the mother who like raised us from the ground up gives it to the children, usually they lose it because they haven't scrubbed the floor. They haven't learned from the ground up like the parents did. And I think that's what makes you so good at what you do because you've done all these events. You've been there. You know what these people are going through. So when you're making the decisions, you're thinking about them in their everyday life, but I want to talk about this transition before we get into your producing career. What made you go from bullfighting to becoming a rodeo producer is like when I learned that about you, like I already knew you were a good guy, but then when I learned that, I'm like, oh my God, like this guy is like the most selfless human in the world. Tell us about why you had to make that transition.
Yeah. So same thing. Like I was talking about these guys, they're my age, they're still going, and who knows, maybe I would have, maybe I wouldn't have. But in 2013, my mom, kind of a bit of a backstory. My mom had lost her kidneys in the, late 70s to strep throat. So she has a transplant kidney since she was 19. In 2010 or 11, I can't remember. The kidney, essentially can't last forever. So after 35 years of having the kidney, it wasn't functioning anymore. So she's on dialysis, needs a new kidney. And so there's a program called the Paired Exchange Program that actually started here in Canada and was very new at the time. So fortunately enough, I was able to donate a kidney for my mom, not to my mom, but by way of massive exchange across Canada simultaneously. Yeah, so I gave my kidney for my mom in 2013. And one of the biggest things the doctors recommended at the time, which again, I don't know nowadays if they would care or not care, probably still would, but they said like you can't be rodeo and you can't be fighting bulls. I mean, they didn't want me to play beer league hockey because
Of course.
essentially if you go from, two kidneys to one kidney and your one kidney gets injured, seriously injured, or you get injured, that's it. It's done, right? And so yeah, so I just made the decision to quit fighting bulls, and at the time I was already working for the Canadian Pro Rodeo Association in the office part-time and fighting bulls on the weekends or whichever. And so I just said, you know what? I'm going to give that up and focus on my business career. And I'm business education and had already started into that side of it. So yeah, that was it. But yeah, it's funny because that's 2013, so 12 years that I haven't been fighting bulls, and yeah, a lot of guys my age are still going. So it's funny to think like, man, I'll be 40 this year, but I can't picture myself getting out there fighting bulls at 40 years old. That's feels pretty rough.
Yeah, like you said, the longevity of these guys' careers are pretty insane when you look at what they're actually doing. So
Yeah.
12 years
Yeah.
off the circuit, man, just putting on the doing up the laces, like what's some of the big things you miss about being that guy in the arena or going to those rodeos to be that guy?
Yeah, no, just like hanging out with the guys and I don't know, like I loved the what I would call the art of bullfighting or being out in the arena and um just same thing, like knowing the bulls and working with the other bullfighters to do a good job, and even for that matter, I think I was always pretty keenly interested in the bigger picture of the show and how we were involved in that and the entertainment we were part of and putting on. And as a rodeo clown son, it was always about like helping the rodeo clown and being part of the acts and whichever. So I mean, a lot of guys that I fought bulls with, they were there to do that job and do a good job of it, and they did. And for me, I was there for that. But I also thought about like, hey, you need us to go to the pancake breakfast or go in the parade or whichever. And I loved being part of that and helping introduce people to or put on a good show. So, for me, the transition actually wasn't that um, difficult as far as going from being a bullfighter at the rodeo to producing or putting on the rodeo or being a part of some portion of the rodeo production or the overarching, rodeo, global rodeo um, industry. So yeah, that to me was, yeah. Sometimes you miss it a little bit. It's probably you miss the adrenaline rush of being out there or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. It took a long time, I think, to get over like that was my passion from such a young age, right? So it was like more like going through a bad breakup than it was you know, like losing your first girlfriend, because that was like the first love of my life. But now when I look back, it's like anything. You're not gonna, like, 9 times out of 10, you're not gonna, end up marrying and being with your first girlfriend for the rest of your life, right? So those changes are good and they're necessary, and just look back and create value out of what it was, and not think about like, geez, I sure wish I was fighting bulls. I could have been fighting bulls at the Calgary Stampede by now. It's like, wow, you
Yeah.
know.
No, man, I think everything's written by the same hand, and you're just following the path. I think what you did was so selfless, and to help your mom out, like that's, I
Mhm.
mean, of course you're gonna help your mom out, right? And that was
Yeah.
so huge. And let's talk about the transition now to producing. Like I said at the beginning, you've produced some of the biggest events in the world. You've produced the Calgary Stampede for many years. You produced the American Rodeo. You've produced MLB All-Star Game. How long did it take you to get to that point? Like, was it a hard, like, is it a hard road to walk down? Are there a lot of rodeo producers? What's that like? Did people accept you right away? Who gave you your first gig, your first chance?
No, rodeos, to me, I grew up in it, and so I've been around it 40 years, right? But as a young guy, the people involved, and the old guys involved, and the old rodeo cowboys, stock contractors, all committee guys been putting on the same rodeo for 40 years. Um, I was the youngest in the room by far, right? And the road wasn't short. Like like I said, I was on the Box Springs Rodeo Committee. I think whatever the legal age was that I could be on the committee, I put my $2 in and got on the committee, and was the vice president of the Box Springs Rodeo, I think by the time I was 15 or 16. And so I was putting on rodeos. I put on my first bull riding, by myself, or I mean, I had some help, but like I produced a bull riding when I was 15 years old and did that for a number of years. And so same thing, like it wasn't like I just got into it because I quit fighting bulls, right? And then went and worked for the CPRA and was the rodeo administrator there for 5 years before I went to the Calgary Stampede. And so then was involved in producing, putting on the Canadian finals from, I think, 2011 until 2000, 15, when I went to the Calgary Stampede. Um, and then we started the grassroots finals, and I produced that, and then that's now turned into Maple Leaf Circuit finals. So lots of rodeos, lots of events putting on, and then some opportunities to go and do, like I said, went from the working for the CPRA to the Calgary Stampede. But that all along the way, it's like kind of gathering up those skills and different experiences to be able to do that. The funny thing is that, to me, is people say, oh yeah, you just got into this. It's like, no, I did not. Like, born and raised in it, putting cleaning out outhouses and putting new toilet paper rolls in the outhouses before the rodeo, and weed whipping and gathering cans and all the stuff that these committees do and volunteers do, and people putting on events. It doesn't matter if it's a rodeo or whatever. And to me, I'm like that. They say, what makes you, so good at that level? And I'm like, it's not only knowing every single thing that needs to be done to put on an event, but having done it and being willing to still do it. And like there's no trash can I'm walking by if it's full. That's just not gonna happen, right? So I think that's the interesting thing. But yeah, sitting in a room, the board of directors, uh, 24 years old, and I'm the rodeo administrator of the CPRA, and every person in that room is twice, if not 3 times my age, right? So I've been dealing with that in rodeo my whole career,
Yeah, that
and
says something about our
and I
industry
think,
too.
you still deal with it. People still look at everything that I've been able to be a part of and been fortunate and blessed enough to get to experience. Um, there's still lots of guys that'll look at me and be like, young guy, young guy, you'll find out, right? So, but I think again, that's part of why my passion for storytelling and being involved in rodeo still at this level. I've been fortunate enough, as you mentioned, to be able to do some other events and sports and concerts and entertainment. But I like rodeo and I have a passion for it, for telling that story. And I think it's because I came from it and I know the tradition of it and I appreciate it. And nobody wants to go up against me in a history lesson and naming all the past champions of every event in the CPRA, but or the PRCA for that matter. But I also understand how we need to translate that to people that have never seen a rodeo before. And a new demographic of people. And if we want to sustain this, we have to be adaptable and we have to, I said the classic car is always going to be a classic car. Everybody loves a 68 Mustang, but if you don't put new tires on it and if you don't give it an oil change and you don't, upgrade the transmission at some point, guess what? The 69 Mustang is just going to rust away in the corner of somebody's field. And that's what I always say about the sport of rodeo is it is a classic car, and that's why people come to see it, and they love it and they want to see it gleaming and looking good. They don't want to see it all rusted out and limping around, right? So I think that's our job, the three of us on this call, even as the next generation of people involved in the industry, is to keep that classic car looking good and having people coming out and having a good experience with it.
Amen to that. And you're always going to have those classic older people that always buy your tickets. But man, the demographic who are buying tickets to these rodeo nowadays is a lot different than what it was 30, 20, even 15 years ago, right? And
Yeah.
so much
And you know
more.
what? Like the older generation, the older demographics, they're going to complain about some of the changes and the things that they, oh, the music's louder now and we, this or that. But again,
Rocker Steiner.
yeah, Rocker Steiner and the new people involved. But guess what? They're like I said, if they went to a vintage tractor pull, they darn sure complain more if all the tractors were dirty and rusty and could barely pull, right?
Yeah.
Because that is embarrassing for them because
Yeah.
the nostalgia of what they remember is a nice looking tractor out there, in all its glory. And so again, we owe it to them to do that too, but it's not going to look exactly how they remember it, right? And it's tough, and if I could put something on my gravestone, I think it probably would be, and Sean Morton, I think he thinks that this is like my catchphrase or something now, but I always say, the only things that stay the same is everything changes. And that's the truth of the matter.
Amen. Amen, brother. It's so true. And if you don't change, you don't adapt, guess what? You gone. And I
Yeah.
think, right? And I think rodeo is shining right now, bro. I think rodeo is like it's unbelievable to see what's happening, even if from a few years. Like I want to say like 2, 3 years. I know it's been a while, it's been coming, but right now, like how do you see it right now, Kynan? You've been involved in the rodeo for so many years. How do you see the current situation of rodeo at this moment?
Yeah, well, we got I think the COVID factor, right? So we have people in all events, all entertainment, community gatherings coming out of COVID saying, man, like I didn't realize how much I needed that until it was taken away from me. So people are going out. They're going, oh, do you got an opportunity to go out and experience something? Yes, I do, right? And I'm gonna go. And so I'm gonna be a part of this and I'm gonna do that. So
Do you have a kid? Do you have a kid you need to take
yeah,
care of
yeah.
right now?
It's well, no, but she's we got them all running around here. But I think so there's that side of it, and then there's the other side of it where yeah, country's cool again, right? And cowboy's cool again because of the Yellowstone factor and those types of things, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
I totally agree. This is the time. Kynan, we're gonna have to do a part two because I'm gonna get kicked out of my hotel here. We have to do a part two because I wouldn't even get into your fishing illustrious fishing career. This guy is a guide. He is addicted to fishing. He loves grizzly bears. So we have so much to talk about. Can we do a part two?
We need to go for a fish and then like sit by
We
and
yeah, we should tee it up. We'll all go out fishing and then we'll
Yes.
we'll jump on a podcast afterwards and we
Let's
can do a
go.
wrap up on it.
Okay, perfect.
That'd be
Thank
fun.
you so much.
That'd
Thank
be
you so
great.
much for being on, brother. Tell Megan we said sorry because she's had to herd the kids for the past hour. But you're the
All
best,
good.
man. Everything you do for rodeo, it's unbelievable. Everything you've done for me. Cole started out saying everything you've done for him as well. We're just blessed to have you in our lives, buddy. And thanks for making the time today.
For sure, guys. No, and happy Easter.
You too, Jeff.
Happy Easter, buddy.
Man,
What a
what
guy.
legend that guy. Like the way he
Bro,
talks,
12 years old, bro. 12 years old fighting bulls. Like, that's
stepping
nuts.
out in front of one. And like, dude, I know it's crazy. If you think about it, like this has always been on my mind is like a bull rider sliding up on his rope, and then you just look out the gate and you're like, oh man, this bullfighter, I'm fucking his ex-girlfriend. This guy's not gonna save me if I
Oh,
fall off. You know what I mean? Like, does that
yo,
happen?
that's such a good skip, bro. Oh
It
my
would be
God. Like,
so
you
good.
don't know though until you look out the gate and you're like,
You're
oh,
just like,
fuck,
oh
it's Jerry.
no. Gerald's out there. Gerald don't give a shit about me. This bull's mean.
Wow. Wow. That's, or you owe him money or like you've done something to his family. Like
Right?
you fucked his sister. I don't know if I can say that. Maybe we need to bleep that, but
Yeah,
you did things
yeah.
anyways. But that's a good skip, bro. You need to
Yeah,
film that.
that would be
That's
good, right?
funny.
Yeah,
That
that would
is
be good.
funny. You depend on this guy, and at the last second before you nod, it's like not the guy you want to see.
Dude, you hit the dirt and there's the gap between you and the bull, and that's his seat, that's his seat to the show, and he don't want it. You're just like, no, no.
No. Oh, that's hilarious.
Uh,
Well, Cowboy Cole, another great episode. What episode is this?
This is
Episode
24, my man.
wow, 24.
So
Crazy, eh?
24. Yeah, man, we're chugging along nicely. So thank you guys all for tuning in. Remember, check out our YouTube, dude. Check out our YouTube. Should have been a cowboy podcast. We're on Instagram, Spotify, all those places. So make sure you check us out.
Yeah. And let us know who you would like us to interview, right? Let's
Hmm.
ask the listeners, send us DMs, jump into our DMs. Let us
Yeah,
know. Maybe it's doesn't have to be famous people, just people that you think would have an interesting story to share on the pod. We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to hear from them as well. So let us know.
absolutely. So thanks, guys, for tuning in. We'll see you on the next episode of Should Have Been a Cowboy.